Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better. This is Steve Jewin from MMA Mania. How are you doing today?
Doing great, brother. Doing great.
All right, that's good. Looking forward to your fight coming up here on March 28th, so let's get right into the details. First of all, you're 2-0 in World Series of Fighting with 2 highlight reel knockouts. So how's your confidence going against the champion for the title?
Oh, fully loaded, brother. Fully loaded, man. Fully confident, ready to go. When you're ready to go over there, just get my belt, bring it back home.
What do you feel like the training camp has been so far? Do you feel like it's been brutal? Has it been normal? What's it been like for you?
Brutal is pretty much as close as you're gonna get to it. It's been pretty much brutal, Then again, this is what we do, It's the same old thing, Just get in there, do the work, and let it all pay off in the cage,
Absolutely. Previously, I first saw you in Bellator MMA, and you were in the tournament there, and it seems like your career has had a resurgence since you left Bellator, went out on your own, and then came into the World Series of Fighting. So how would you compare the two organizations? What do you feel like is the difference between the two?
I've never had a good feel for Bellator. I just didn't like the way they did things and the matchups and stuff like that, And fighting at 145 just, it wasn't the greatest feeling, I was always fighting at 155. I always felt comfortable at 155, and the only reason I ever dropped to 145 was because of that tournament, and things didn't really go well for me in that weight class. I would say too, the lack of experience on cutting weight and stuff like that, didn't play in my favor. So once I finally left and started going to fight again at 155 and feeling my strength again, my power. My confidence level was just going up, and then World Series of Fighting came along, and it's just been a blessing, man. It's been great, like I've been able to show the world, who I am, so it's a great feeling.
Yeah, well, you certainly have. Like I said, 2 highlight reel knockouts so far. You've been on a roll. Obviously, that got you the title shot, but at the same time, I want to go back to something you said. When you were in Bellator and the featherweight cut wasn't working out for you, was it just a too far down of a drop? What do you usually walk around at?
At that time, I was like 175. I just don't like the weight cut to begin with. And like I said, the lack of experience in the weight cut, I didn't have no nutritionist in my camp, I didn't have no guidance through dieting. I practically did it on my own, I remember cutting like 12 pounds a night before the weigh-ins, and that was the first time I'd ever dropped to 145. But, overall, I just didn't feel strong, I didn't feel like my strength, my speed, it wasn't there. And, I was dealing with a lot of personal issues at that time too, so that might have played a role in it. But, I just feel so much stronger on 155. And I'm not a big 155er, But I feel a lot stronger. My aggressiveness is like 100%, I just feel a lot more comfortable with 155.
Aggressiveness is a good word for it. That's how I would describe watching your fights. It seems like from the moment they say go, you're out there headhunting and looking to take somebody down with a punch or a kick.
Yeah, definitely, man. I had to come back to that. I remember when I was fighting 145, I wasn't as aggressive, but I wasn't as strong and as fast, and it was like a part of me wasn't there. And once I got back to my regular weight class, it all just synced in perfectly, and it shows really good in my last 2 fights, it's there.
Well, it's interesting because you're coming in with highlight reel finishes, and you're fighting a guy whose nickname is the Highlight. So how do you plan to counter the explosiveness of Justin Gaethje?
Well, I'm counting on his aggressiveness, I'm by nature a counter fighter, so, the way that he fights it's perfect for me, I think he's very young, very explosive, very strong. He's lacking a lot of experience, in which I carry. And, I'm going to be showing that, March 28th in the cage.
What's the travel going to be like going to Phoenix? Is it a pretty easy trip for you, or how soon do you plan to go out there?
That's really on World Series of Fighting. They haven't gave me the exact day when I leave. It'll probably be a few days off. But, just another fight, another state.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I just always try to figure that in when fighters, they have to slow down their camps and, cut down the training to get out there for media days and whatnot. So I figure you've got some sort of timetable in your head planned for when you're going to wrap it up, when you're going to slow down the training a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we've done this before, so, you know, it's just another same old thing. I'm traveling with my two trainers, and, you know, the camp is where they are, you know. When we are together, that's the camp, so it doesn't matter, you know, how many days off or how many days we're going to be over there. Once the three of us are together, it's over, you know.
Let me just get your thoughts in general on World Series of Fighting. You know, President Ray Sefo, obviously, he's a fighter himself, so you said it didn't feel like a good fit at Bellator, but obviously in World Series of Fighting, you feel like it's a really good fit.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Does it help that you have a fighter that's the president, you know, somebody that relates to other fighters? Does that make a big difference?
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, you feel more well taken care of, more appreciated, you know. You have somebody that's actually felt our pain and felt our hard work and been through it, you know, to take care of us. So I think that's definitely a big role, you know, of the success in WSOF.
Is it interesting that he's still fighting himself? I mean, he's not retired. He's still actively taking fights even now.
Yeah, I love the guy. I became a fan when I saw him fight for the first time. I saw him fighting World Series Fighting, actually. Man, it was great. Amazing fight. You know, strikers, so, you know, you got to love the strikers, you know?
Absolutely. So, hey, what got you into fighting in the first place?
I practically grew up fighting. So, you know, like it was just a part of my life, you know. It was actually a blessing that it came into, you know, to become a part of my life as a career, you know, to make a living out of it, you know. And now I just fight for a living and you know, so it's a great way, you know, to go by.
So you grew up in Peru, right?
Well, I was born in Peru, and I came to the States, came to California when I was about 10 years old, turning 11.
Okay.
And then came to Miami when I was about 14 years old.
All right, so yeah, you got your early start in Peru. Were you fighting then, or was it only when you got to the States that you were getting in a lot of fights as a kid?
No, actually, in Peru, I was just playing soccer. When I came to California, I was boxing. I boxed in Cali for a good 3 years, and then when I got to Miami, there was like the boxing wasn't the same, and you know, that's where the street fight started happening, you know?
Right, I understand. So at some point somebody pulled you aside and said, hey, you got all this aggressiveness. Why don't you find a more disciplined way to use it to your advantage? And that's when you got the bug for MMA.
Yes, sir. Right.
Seems to be working out well for you. It's obviously been a successful career going back to the last 10 years. So, you know, what's your thoughts in the future? You know, what if you win that title, what's next for Luis Palomino?
Well, I'll take it day by day, you know. First of all, a nice break will be awesome. You know, I've been busting my ass for this, man. You know, I've been working really hard for this. And, you know, I've been fighting almost every 7 months. I would like to make a change on that, too. You know, 2 fights a year is just not enough to keep an athlete, you know, busy. You know, I don't like the 6 to 7 month break. So, I would love to just defend my title, you know, and just take it by day.
I'm just wondering, the nickname Baboon, that's kind of unusual for MMA. How did you come by that?
I was in my capoeira days. You know, I did Brazilian martial arts capoeira for about 13 years of my life, and I learned how to speak fluent Portuguese, and I'm a certified professor. And in my old group, the logo was a baboon, and they named me after the logo being the best student in the group. So I just ran with it, you know.
Oh, so it was like a badge of honor then. Like, this guy was the best, now you're the best.
Yes.
Very cool. So, on the subject of fighting more often, how often do you want to fight? Is it like every 3 months, every 4 months? What would be the ideal amount for you?
I would say 3 to 4 fights a year. You know, 3 being the minimum. You know, I think if I'm healthy and you know, injury free, and you know, I don't have off days. I don't have. You know, I hear fighters talk about, oh yeah, I'm off camp right now. No, we don't believe in that in MMA Masters. We train throughout the entire year. You know, we don't have breaks. So if I'm healthy and I'm injury free and the show has, you know, has fights going on, I would like to be a part of it. You know, 3 to 4 times a year, I think would be fair.
Yeah. Well, ironically, you may have just answered my next question, because I was going to ask you, when you do take time off, what a day off is like. But if you take no days off, then I don't know what that would be.
I mean, you know, there's always going to be your weekends, your family days, you know, with my girlfriend and our kids, you know, and then, you know, a little fishing, a little, you know, park here. We do our things, I mean, but, you know, though that thing where I hear it a lot, where fighters just take a whole 2-3 weeks off, a month off, you know, we don't believe in that. Maybe a day, maybe 2, you know, but not a whole week off.
Well, it doesn't
Not
seem
in this kind of.
Right. No, I mean, it's working for you because, you know, you've got 2 straight wins in World Series fighting. You're going for the 3rd, and it's a title shot. So obviously not taking a lot of time off is working in your favor.
Yeah, just want to stay more active, you know?
Yeah, so we're going to see you stay very active on March 28th at the Comerica Theater in Phoenix, live on NBC Sports. So in closing, I want to get you to throw out some plugs, any sponsors, social media, anything you want to shout out at this time.
Yeah, for, you know, all of those that are following me or that would like to follow me on Instagram, Luis Baboon, or Twitter, Luis Baboon, or my fan page on Facebook, Luis Palomino. And special thanks to all my sponsors, Bentacore Nutrition, Massages the Space, Cauliflower Culture, Ref Gator, Wolf Legal, Hugo Florido's law firm, my physical therapist, Brian, my brother Mania and Eric, you know, they always help me out, you know, in every camp. And everybody, Mouth Guard. And you know, everybody else that's not remembering right now, you know, sorry, but that's that.
Well, if you get the win, you'll get a chance to shout all of them out after the fight. So anybody you missed, we'll just watch on NBC Sports, and maybe we'll hear it there.
Great, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks for talking today. I appreciate the time.